This is the video for Grade 7, Chapter 1, Practice Test, Form 2C. The first problem talks about a fish tank, where one week the level of the water was 12 inches, then the next week it was 10.5 inches, and then the next week it was 9 inches, and they want to know how deep the water is going to be in one more week. Well, there is a pattern happening here. Can you see the pattern? I'll give you a clue. It's some sort of subtraction problem. Can you subtract 12 minus 10.5? Or can you subtract 10.5 minus 9? If so, maybe you'll be able to find what the pattern is. For example, what if instead of these numbers, you saw these numbers instead? 12, and then the second number was 9.5, and then the third number was the number 7. What pattern is happening there? Watch. I'm going to take 12, and I'm going to subtract 9.5 from it. Now, don't forget, when you're subtracting decimal numbers, you have to line up the place values and the decimal point. The number 12 may not look like it has a decimal point, but it really does have one right there. So I'm lining up the decimal points, and I'm going to subtract. I can't take 5 from nothing, so I borrow and make this 10. And I end up with a pattern so far of a subtraction of 2.5. 2.5 is what I get when I take 12 and subtract 9.5 from it. Now let's see what's happening here. If I subtract 9.5 and 7, what number do I get? I also get 2.5. The pattern must be subtracting 2.5 each time. So I'm going to take this 7 and subtract 2.5 from it. Notice I lined up the decimal points. The decimal points have to be lined up. Decimal point, subtract. I get 4.5. Now, these are not the numbers for your problem, but this gives you an idea how you can solve it. Okay, how about 2 through 5? Don't you have to make sure you follow the orders of operation there? Yep. Do everything parentheses first, do the exponent stuff next, do the multiplication and division from left to right, and then the addition and subtraction from left to right. So, one example problem for that. How about 48 over the top of 2 to the third, and we're going to subtract from that 4. How would you do that? Well, I'd figure out the 2 to the third first. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 4 underneath 48. Then I'd do the subtraction, and I'd get 4. Then I'd do the division. 48 divided by 4 is an answer of 12. Orders of operation. How about the next section? 6 through 11. Again, order of operation problems. Let's try one that looks like this. A times B minus C times D. But I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to make it A times C subtract B times D. Well, looking at the problem, I've got 5 times a C value of -4 and a B value of 2 and a D dog value of -2. So what part of this do I do first? So I got to do this, -20. Then I got to do this, -4. And then I got to bring down this sign, negative. What is -20 minus a -4? Well, the rule about subtraction is to subtract, you add the opposite of the second number, and in this case, you get -16. $12 is adding. Also 13, 14, and 15 are adding and subtracting problems. Don't forget, there's different rules for different situations. If you're adding two positive numbers, you just add them. If you're adding two negative numbers, you just add them. If you're adding a positive to a negative number, you got to use that three-step rule. If you're subtracting, that's the rule that says to subtract. You add the opposite of the second number. And when you do that, you might end up using one of the other rules as well afterwards. 16 through 21 is multiplication and division problems. Don't forget, addition and subtraction problem rules are different than multiplication and division rules. If you're not sure, refresh your memory by studying the sheet a little bit. I think we're going to stop at this point. Hopefully this is enough, but talk to me if you're stuck. Talk to me. Thank you.